Well, good evening, everyone, and happy Monday. Listen, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope that your Monday went off without a hitch. Now, I realize that you could be joining me from different places in the country, so whether it is morning, afternoon, or evening, I hope wherever you are in the course of this day, that it is good. I am Erica Salee, speaker, self help author, and your transformation success coach. And just in case this is the first time that you are in conversation with me, I do want to let you know that as a result of my personal coaching and professional development programs, I help women and organizations to figure out what stands in the way of their success. The best part is that I get to share strategies about how to move around those barriers so that you can create the best version of yourself. I'm excited because this week I'm doing something special. I am sharing a topic that I think is very timely, especially for where we are right now in this holiday season and all the things that are going on in the world. And I'm sure that you can probably identify with something happening in your space where this topic would be of some use to you. So this week, I am sharing a special conversation on the 4 ways to be intentional about finding your joy. So tonight, I want to kick off the conversation with the first topic, and then I will be coming, or the first way I should say, and then I will be coming back to you tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday to share ways 2, 3, and 4. Now, these are going to be really quick conversations, so do plan to join me for about 15 minutes or so as I share each of the 4 ways. So I want to go ahead and jump right into it. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that if you are joining me live and you have comments or questions as I share the content for tonight, then please, by all means, place your comments. I will check those as we go throughout the broadcast on tonight. But if you happen to come back in and see the replay, then yes, I do want you to hashtag replay and still comment and share your thoughts or ask your questions on this particular topic. So again, this week I am sharing 4 ways to be intentional about finding your joy. And so as we prepare for the conversation, if you do want to take an opportunity to take notes, then please do that if you are in a position to do so. If you happen to be driving or unable to, then always know that you can come back to this conversation on YouTube or on my social media feed. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Again, 4 ways to be intentional about finding your joy. So let's talk about way number 1. The first way to be intentional about finding your joy is to make a decision. Just make a decision. Now, I know you might be saying, well, make a decision. Well, the reality is the first step in choosing joy is deciding that you want to experience the connection with joy as opposed to the alternative, whether it's anxiety, frustration, anger, sadness. One of the things that's so simple, or it seems simple, to just make a statement like make a decision. You're like, wait a minute. In order for me to be intentional about finding my joy, you're saying all I have to do is make a decision. And I'm saying to you, yes. So here's the thing. What I recognize is that all of us are experiencing something or have experienced something. So I'm going to talk about it in the context of what I've experienced. So let's say going through a divorce, right? You may have something else that's happening in your space right now. It could be loss of another type of relationship. Maybe it's loss of a job. Maybe it's something else that has you in transition. Okay. And so we are allowed through the process of whatever that transition is to be human. Well, what does that look like? Well, being human means that we do feel. And sometimes those feelings are the emotions that come along with the human journey that we're on, the experience that we all have through various stages of our lives. So again, whether that's anger, frustration, confusion, anxiety, Those are the types of things that we have to allow ourselves to feel and to experience. So when I say make a decision, it doesn't mean that we should not allow ourselves to have those human feelings, right? We're entitled to do that. In fact, I do feel like it is healthy for us to say how we feel about certain situations. I believe that when we do expel that, whether it's through conversations with a friend, whether it's journaling, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through professional help, which I think is absolutely healthy, those are the outlets that we get to expel or release those human emotions, those feelings, and giving ourselves grace in the process. So when I say make a decision, it's not absent of having those types of feelings. And at the end of the day, making a decision that you want to experience the connectedness to joy does not mean that there won't be things or people in your way to challenge that decision, right? Like, oh my gosh, how can you feel joy because you are going through this? How can you feel joy because this has happened? Those are the types of challenges that may come along when you make the decision that you want to be connected to joy. So let me break this down for you. So you might say to yourself, well, I don't really understand when you talk about being intentional about finding joy. There is a difference between joy and happiness. And I want to kind of make this distinction because I think it'll kind of bring this part of the conversation into proper context. So when we say happiness, here's what I think about that. Happiness to me is when we have a feeling as a result of something. You might say, oh gosh, I really love vanilla ice cream. So that makes me happy. When I eat it, I feel happy. Or you might go to a certain place, whether it's a restaurant or it's another type of venue, and you say, oh my gosh, when I'm here, I just feel so happy. Or maybe you're connected to a type of person, right? Whether it's a child, a spouse, another companion, and you say, man, every time I'm around this person, I am so happy. Well, joy, on the other hand, is something that is absent of the external. So it's something more internal. So when you think about having the connection to joy versus experiencing happiness, a feeling associated with something or someone, joy is when you say, okay, even if I'm not around that person, or even if I don't go to that venue, or even if I don't do that thing, then I still have this something on the inside of me that makes me feel joy. So let me put it in another context. So when I think about the fact that I am now a divorcee, the question is, can I still have that connection to joy? Can I still have that connection to a feeling that makes me get excited about being, about existing, about promises of a brighter future, even though that's no longer a part of my life? So when you think about this idea of joy, sometimes we have to focus on what is it on the inside that I can find, right? That doesn't have anything to do with anything else or anyone else. And knowing that I can still find that peace about being excited about whatever is next through whatever the transition is. Okay. So making a decision to experience that and not focusing on the other things that may be all around us. It doesn't mean that those things go away. It just means I'm making a choice to be in a different frame of mind. I'm making a choice to maybe speak a different type of language. Here's another example. You might look at your bank account right now and you might say, oh my gosh, I still have this, and this to do. And here's what I have left. And so when you think about that, it may make you feel a little frustrated. And you might say, oh my gosh, how am I going to make all of this work? Joy says, but in spite of that, there's still some good things that I can tap into to be grateful for. Maybe you sat down to have a nice meal. Maybe you did have a great conversation with someone that allowed you to center yourself on that feeling of that internal excitement, regardless of what may or may not be over here, whether it's in your bank account, people that you're associated with, and things of that nature. So making a decision that in spite of this, and you get to fill in what this is for you, in spite of this thing, I am still going to tap into something that makes me feel good, that makes me feel hopeful. Here's another way to kind of think of this. Let's just say, and I know you might say, well, gosh, but the transition that I'm going through or the thing that I'm dealing with is so much bigger. So you're saying that it's just as simple as making a decision. I'm not saying that it's going to immediately allow all the other things to come into place. But what I am saying is that making a decision is a step in the right direction. I'm making a decision that in spite of, I'm still going to find joy. I'm still going to do the things that make me feel joyful and happy, right? So joyful is intrinsic, right? Happy is I'm associating myself with people or things that continue to allow me to feel good. But even if those things are not there, then I'm looking for the ways that are going to allow me to experience that joy. And so if you say to yourself, well, how do you correlate that in the simplest terms? So use this example. You might say to yourself, you know what? I think I'm ready to buy a house. Well, in order for you to move into the next phases of whatever that looks like, you have to make the decision, well, I'm ready to move. Unless you make that decision and unless you say, okay, I am going to put my foot down, these are the things that I'm going to do, I'm making the decision to move, then once you do that, then you can do the other things like find a realtor, make sure you've got your bank account and all your money in place, looking for the neighborhood that you want to move in, the type of home you want to move in. Like all of those things happen after you make the decision that you want to move. So the very, very first thing when it comes to finding or being intentional about finding your joy, it is, let me just make the decision that this is what I want to experience. I want to be connected to the thing that is going to allow me to experience something that makes me feel happy, something that makes me feel excited, something that makes me feel hopeful, not just about the present place that I'm in, but hopeful about my future as well. So that is the first way to make a decision. So again, we're talking this week. Tonight is night number 1. 4 ways to be intentional about finding your joy. The first way is to make a decision, simply saying to yourself, you know what? I do want to experience joy. I know that I don't have to stay in this place. I know that I don't have to stay in this mindset. Making a decision, simply saying it, and not ignoring what you may be feeling as a result of whatever transition you're going through, but releasing that so that you can open up space in order to experience and cultivate those spaces of joy. I talk quite a bit about this in my new book. So I do want to talk about that in just a moment, but I do want to encourage you to join me for the rest of the week. I said that these conversations are going to be really quick snippets, 15 to 20 minutes. And so I'm coming close to the time that I wanted to spend tonight. And I do invite you to come back and join me tomorrow night, same time, same place. I'm going to give you the second way to be intentional about finding your joy. But before I let you go, there's a couple of announcements that I do want to make. Number 1, if you have not gotten your copy of my brand new Amazon #1 bestseller, I'm Here Now What? Finding Joy After the Storm, then you can order that on Amazon. And let me say, I do know that we are in the Christmas season and you might be looking for that gift for a special someone. And I know sometimes when we give gifts, it's like we give the things that might wear out. I love candles, and I don't know many people who don't like candles, but the wick burns out and the wax ends up going, burns all the way down. And so you might not be able to use that candle anymore. We give scarves and we give sweaters and all the things that people might outgrow. But giving the gift of a book that has nuggets and strategies and some humor in it, that gives people the opportunity to take something away and to learn and to continue to grow, and something that you can feed off of for a long time. Actually, when you pick up a book, you might read, one chapter, right? And then you go back and you look at something else in that chapter and you see something that perhaps you didn't see the first time. So that is a gift that keeps on giving. So again, if you have not gotten your copy of my new book, I'm Here Now What? Finding Joy After the Storm, you can order that on Amazon. It's in paperback, it's in hardcover, it's also in the ebook format. So if you're looking for that gift, either for you or for someone else, then do go to Amazon to get your copy of that. And Amazon, you can get it in a couple days, have it all gift wrapped and ready to give away, or you can wrap it and give it to yourself, right? Make it something special just for you. The second announcement that I want to make is that registration is now open for the companion program, Finding Your Joy Live. That is the companion program to the book. That begins January the 29th. Registration is open now, and there aren't a lot of spots available. Okay, so let's say you might be saying to yourself, okay, well, what is Finding Your Joy Live? So this program is intended to do three things. It is to help you to process the ups and downs of your transition, whatever that is. The backdrop for me is going through divorce and navigating through that. For you, it may be something totally different. So it is to help you process whatever that is. It's to help you to pivot away from some of the emotional strain that comes along with trying to process that thing. And then lastly, it is to help you to push forward to find joy for your future. So who is this program for? Well, it's for the person who may be separated, perhaps on the way to divorce. Maybe you're dealing with the empty nester syndrome. Maybe you are trying to figure out, well, how am I going to make it on my own after this thing? And again, you fill it in for yourself. You might also be the person who is looking to embrace what it means to practice self-care unapologetically. I talk a lot about self-care in the book because it is a source of comfort. It is a source of strength when you take care of yourself in the midst of whatever you're going through. So you may be a woman who is trying to figure out what that looks like for you. So again, registration is open. Sessions start January the 29th. And here's the thing, there are limited spaces available. So here's what you can do in order to figure out a little bit more about the program. You can go to truesynergy.org/finding your joy. You will get all the information about the program. Q&As are available to you. So you may have a couple of different questions about, well, how do I navigate through this? Is this for me? So there's Q&As out there for you to take a look at. Gives you all the details about what you will get as part of the program. And so make sure you take a look and be thinking to yourself, okay, if I know that I'm in a space of transition, let me think about how I can apply this to myself so that when I move into the next season, or as I'm moving into the next season of my life, that I can apply this for me to help give me a kickstart. Or you might say, well, you know what? I know someone that I've been having a conversation with, and she's looking for something that is going to help her to move forward to experience this thing called joy that you're talking about. Then do share the information out to your circle. So again, Finding Your Joy Live starts January the 29th. Registration is now open, and you will see on the screen that you can go to truesynergy.org. At the top of the website, there is a link that will take you directly to all the information about the program. So, again, I do also encourage you to get your copy of I'm Here, Now What? Finding Joy After the Storm. The program and the book go hand in hand. And so, when you think about how you want to share gifts this holiday season with those that you are connected to, or even for yourself, then these two options are certainly ones on the table that will make great gifts for those that you know. So, on that note, I'm going to wrap up tonight's conversation. I do invite you to come back tomorrow night and join me for the second way to be intentional about finding your joy. I'm going to pick up with the second way on tomorrow night, so you don't want to miss that conversation. And then you can kind of put all the pieces together as we go through the rest of the week, so that you can just compile some 4 simple ways that you can be intentional about finding your joy. So listen, I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Until I do, I want you to take care of yourselves, and yes, be well.